Please turn your sound on to hear full explanations of our answers. Thank you. Question is, how do you cope with tinnitus? And my answer to that is that you train your mind to defocus and ignore it, so that it actually isn't a part of your life anymore. Now, I want to explain to you that this question, how do you cope with tinnitus? It's a kind of natural question to say, how do you cope with any debilitating condition? But when we're talking about tinnitus, this word cope actually takes on new meaning, because tinnitus is one of those conditions where it's a kind of stress condition. It's like there's something there that's always bugging you. And the unique thing about tinnitus is that one way to defeat it, a very effective way, and I won't lie to you, it does take effort, but the rewards are worth it, okay? But something you can do with tinnitus is that you can make this irritant, you can completely neutralize it so that it doesn't affect you anymore, so that I always make this analogy. It's like being stuck in a waiting room or on an airplane, and there's a baby nearby, and the baby starts to cry quite loudly. And there's two ways to react to that. You can either be there, and the baby starts to annoy you, and the longer you're there, and the more you realize you're stuck there and can't do anything about it, the longer it goes on, the more and more annoyed that you get. And actually, one of the problems with tinnitus is that the more stress you get, the worse the tinnitus gets as well. Actually, the intensity also increases. Now, the other way of dealing with this baby is, you notice it obviously when it first happens, when the baby starts to cry, but then you detune it. It doesn't, you get back to your book or whatever else you were doing, the thoughts in your head or something else, and you just detune it out. When you walk out on a busy street, if you go out in the middle of New York or something, you go to Times Square, there are, right in front of your face, thousands of things going on all at once. And, you choose to detune out most of that. You don't focus on every single little thing. You don't let any one thing irritate you. You choose to focus on what you want to focus, and everything else becomes irrelevant. And it's actually possible with tinnitus to, first of all, the less stress that you get, the lower in intensity that it gets anyway, so it becomes very quiet anyway. But also, the less stress that you get, you can keep doing that to the point where it basically ceases to exist. The reality is that it's still there at a very, very low intensity, but you just don't notice that it's there anymore. So much so that you may have to, almost like every few days, you'll suddenly realize, oh yeah, I have tinnitus, but you've detuned it, you've defocused it, you choose not to give any attention to your tinnitus, that it just becomes part of the background noise. There's background noise all around us. Even when we think we're in a quiet room, we're actually not in a quiet room. There's always background noise around us. And if you can choose to detune your tinnitus and make it effectively just like background noise, just like, where I am now, you can hear the kids finishing school. And I'm so used to that now that even when kids scream, I don't really notice it at all. I don't turn my head. My mind doesn't even register that there's anything out of the ordinary. And this is what you can do with your tinnitus. You can make it so that you don't even realize that you have it. So that's what true coping with tinnitus is all about. So anyway, I hope you found this video interesting. Listen, I'll put a link in the description box below, and if you go there, then you'll find this great resource that's helped thousands of people overcome their tinnitus, and in exactly those ways that I described, reducing their intensity and learning how to effectively filter it out of their life. So you should definitely check it out. Click on the link and you'll be sure to obtain some level of relief from your tinnitus at minimum, and maybe even be able to make it not be a part of your life anymore. So just click on that link to find out how, and I will see you soon in another video. Take care.